I wanted to say something real quick, if I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
about the. So I mean, just generally about the question: is it irrational? I am not sure if we emphasized enough that it can be irrational believing in miracles, and not every miraculous account is something that is rational to believe in. And I think we should have more, from an Islamic perspective, it's more of a top down than bottom up approach towards believing in miracles, because the epistemic concerns that we do share with atheists of how we can know that something is true is there within the Islamic context. So it is important for it to be within in a contextualized rational framework for us to believe in these accounts as a byproduct or consequence of our rational basis for belief. And we have several examples within scripture of miracles, supposed miracles, that were done by liars and false prophets. For example, as Samiri in the story of Prophet Musa, and the magicians of Pharaoh, for example. If they went doing all these tricks in the streets, then should we just believe everything they say? No. So on that basis, I think it's very important to point to the fact that within the Islamic context, a miracle should only be rationalizable through the foundation of your belief, and that it's not always rational to believe in miracles, and miracles alone do not justify your belief. Finally, the Quran is special. Why? Because all prophets have come with a message from God and miracles that that kind of add justification to their message. In the case of the Quran, what we claim is those two were put together, and the message is the miracle, in the sense that you can assess its coherence and believe in God on that basis. And also at the same time, you have timeless access to its claim of being inimitable and miraculous. And that's what, from our perspective, is very unique about the Quranic claim of inimitability. And I think
Yeah,
I'll leave
an
it.
example of an irrational miracle, for example, if someone came to you and said, "I've just seen a miracle. I saw a man." Going back to Sharif's good example, I saw a man and he was 5 foot and 8 foot simultaneously. It's like at that point you can say that that's an irrational miracle because it's claiming that two contradictory positions are there. Or this person was I saw this person and he was existing and not existing simultaneously. Or these kind of things, they would fall under the specific realm of a contradiction of two opposing claims.
I mean, even or the non-contradictory stuff without a basis for believing in it. So if someone told me they believe in I think
Maybe
Christianity. I'm not trying to
Abdurrahman,
pick on the Christians.
I'll give you an
Yeah,
example, Abdurrahman. A few years
yeah.
ago, in the 1990s, I think it was, there was a Hindu statue that was seen to drink milk. I don't know if
Yeah, I
you
saw
guys
that.
heard of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I saw
And
that.
there were people like, oh my gosh, this is a miracle. And I think what you're saying, Abdurrahman, is, well, hold on. Does that fit within our understanding about the nature of reality and the belief in a creator that's singular? Yeah. Because, yeah, you might come across something quote unquote miraculous, or something that I personally cannot explain. They found an explanation, by the way, and it was a naturalistic explanation. But if somebody comes across something which is miraculous, it doesn't make their claim necessarily true from God if the foundation of it is irrational. Yeah, like belief in more than one God. Yeah, Jake, we're gonna have to move on. So, Jake, you want to just sort of summarize your own thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the question of the stream was whether or not belief in miracles is irrational. I think we established, even with Carlos, the first guest, that he agreed with us that in principle they're not necessarily illogical. There's not a immediate contradiction between a miracle on the one hand and a law of nature on the other hand, which from my perspective, that's the claim that I get is like this typical internet atheist motif. I get it constantly online. And then the second thing is by demonstrating that there is no immediate conflict between a miracle on the one hand and a law of nature on the other hand, the claim of the Trinity being somewhat analogous with a miracle, we can dispel that and say, no, we can still believe in the reality of miracles and reject the Trinity. Just because we reject the Trinity doesn't necessitate that we therefore have to be consistent and reject all miracles. And so those two things are what I had consistently in mind. I think even our atheist guests, both Justin and Carlos, agreed that in principle, miracles are not logically contradictory. So I think that suffices as this stream being a success.
Yusuf, I don't know if you've got any quick thoughts that you want to sum up.
Yeah, it's literally that. It's I think Jake's summed it up pretty well. That you can talk about miracles, like basically talking about miracles in an absolute sense, just because you don't accept one kind of miracle or one claim of a particular sort of miracle, that you have to reject every possible miracle. There's more nuance to it than that, and I think it shows lack of thought on the subject matter. If you're saying that because you're rejecting this, then why do you accept the Buraq, or why do you accept the splitting of the moon? There is rational or reasonable criteria for why you can accept one and reject the other, and that again just fully kind of is underpinned by this idea of explicit contradictions within the framework of the thing that's being put forward. So with the Trinity thing, if you go back to watch our previous stream, the last one we did on whether or not the Trinity is coherent, you see an in-depth rationale as to why we would say that this is logical or illogical, or a logical problem. And then at that point, obviously you can make this appeal to mystery if you want to, but that appeal to mystery has to in some way admit that the appearance of a logical problem to some degree, and obviously that whole pulling this card, I wanted to pull that out. I've been waiting for that. It's literally it's an acknowledgement of the fact that there is a problem that needs to be answered, and that they have a lack of an answer for it. Obviously, the issue there is whether or not this particular problem is explicitly illogical, or it's just that a lack, the problem of ignorance, as they say, which again kind of be this appeal to.
It's funny, Yusuf, what you said there reminds me of a discussion that Dawkins had. He had an interview, I think, with Mehdi Hassan a few years back, and he was trying to say, how stupid are Muslims who believe in the Buraq and the Prophet ﷺ ascended to heaven and things like that. And one Muslim in the audience, he simply asked him the question. He goes, well, what's more incredulous? The entire universe from nothing, or somebody on a Buraq or a horse, flying horse, because obviously entire universe from absolute nothing is completely incredulous. And it reminds me of a quote. I think it's a quote from a particular atheist philosopher. I can't remember the particular name now. And he basically said, if you grant me one miracle, I will explain the rest.
Everything.
I will explain the rest. So I think that's in essence what they do.